night, beyond anyone's wildest expectations, Michael Jordan returns to the court. He may have been incognito at the morning shoot-around, but tonight, all eyes will focus on jersey number 23. This is a ticket you want to have, a game not to be missed. Tonight, the place to be, Pepsi Center, because MJ's in the house. And guess what? That $5,000 suit for the first time in 3 weeks will come off, and Michael Jordan will suit up and play for the Wizards, a team pursuing a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. And good evening, everyone. Along with Todd Lichty, I'm Drew Goodman. Scott Hastings tonight, a little bit under the weather. Well, Michael Jordan had been under the weather the last 3 weeks. The most optimistic expectations upon his return would be 3 or 4 weeks. Well, the legend grows because Michael Jordan is back earlier than anybody could have envisioned.
Why do people continue to doubt this man, especially on the basketball court? The baseball diamond? Maybe yes. This guy's got to be one of the better offseason acquisitions of late in the NBA. What a terrific ball player. Not as efficient as he used to be. 24 points a game, 41% from the floor. But man, does he make his teammates around him so much better.
And he also makes his coaches a lot better, particularly Doug Collins, second stint for Collins, coaching Michael Jordan. And earlier today, we asked him the impact Jordan has day in and day out on the basketball team.
Michael hates to miss games. And, you know, before he had his surgery, he had about 50 cc's of fluid drained out of his knee right before a game to try to go out and play. I mean, he does not want to miss. And in Michael's mind, when he's out there, he feels like we have a chance to win every game, and I think our players feel that way too. I mean, he brings such energy and life to our team and confidence, and you have to remember now, we were over 500 in the games that he's played, so he's our heart and soul of our team, so we need him out there.
They really need him out there because beginning play today, they're 2.5 games out of the playoff race in the Eastern Conference. They're chasing Charlotte for the final playoff spot. They're in a dead heat with Miami. Obviously, with Jordan, they're a much, much better team. And if you're pursuing a playoff spot, I can't think of a guy you'd want in front of 23.
Well, the numbers don't lie. They don't lie here. They didn't lie in Chicago. This guy senses this team has a chance to make it to the playoffs and feels with him out there, this is a very important and winnable ball game for this franchise. And he can lead them there. Give him a taste of that playoff championship experience and what it takes to win. And let's not forget, earlier this year, he lit up Charlotte for 51 points, like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, and then he backed it up with 45 the next night against New Jersey. Tonight, he will come off the bench. He will not be in the starting lineup. Well, some people probably gave their tickets away tonight thinking Michael Jordan would not play, but never underestimate number 23. As the legend grows more, he'll play tonight. There he is next to Doug Collins, and the third member of our crew is Sandy Williams, as always. Sandy is legendary in our circle. Sandy.
Thanks a lot for that one, Drew. Of course, Michael Jordan used to play for the Chicago Bulls, where he spent most of his career. And while he was there, he played with Nuggets center Scott Williams, where Scott won 3 championship rings with Michael. And Scott tells us that Jordan brings more to the game than just averaging 30 points over his career.
He's going to lead those guys in a way that a lot of people don't even understand. The younger players, he'll make them play harder. He'll give them more confidence. He's going to lift that team and put them on their back and carry them a lot further than they would possibly able to go with another shooting guard.
A great example of that today in morning practice. That's Richard Hamilton with Michael Jordan. Jordan working on one move, how to get out of a baseline trap. They worked on that move for about 15 minutes, showing the perfectionist that he is, and I'm sure Hamilton soaked it all up. Drew, Todd?
Okay, Sandy, thank you very much. And Michael will be in a sedentary position to begin. Doug Collins wants to limit his minutes tonight. You know, if it was up to Jordan, he'd play all 48, despite the fact he's coming off knee surgery. And the Gatorade starting 5 for Collins this evening: Richard Hamilton, the veteran Christian Laettner, and the 20-year-old Kwame Brown, the #1 pick in the draft this year. Chris Whitney and Courtney Alexander will be in the backcourt. Mike Evans' team will line up this way. Their Gatorade starting 5. McDyess, Howard, and Chaney in the front court. And in the backcourt, Tim Hardaway returns, coming off a 2-game suspension for tossing the television, along with George McLeod. Bennett Salvatore, Blaine Reichelt, and Derek Collins will blow the whistles tonight. talked about the importance of this basketball game for Washington and the rest of the way. They have 15 left, including tonight. And a bad start for the Nuggets. Antonio McDyess thought Juwan Howard was going to face up, I guess, to receive the pass, and that goes out of bounds.
Antonio had the shot, Kwame Brown in his face, made him give it up, and he threw it away.
Of those 15 games left for the Wizards, 8 will be at home, and including tonight, 7 on the road. Washington's been out on the road for a while. This is game 5 of a 6-game road trip. They are 2-2 on the trip thus far. So Washington also with a turnover to begin things.
Kwame Brown, inexperience shows there. Tries to hit the cutter with a pass that's just too fine, doesn't get it in there and throws it right out of bounds. But you can see just in the first trip or two up and down the court what the Washington Wizards saw in Kwame Brown for his size as an 18-year-old, and the way he moves up and down the court is unbelievable.
Yeah, wait till you take a look at his arms. You'll see him this night unfold. It's amazing that this guy's as young as he is. He is built like 30. Robert Chaney arises and knocks down a jump shot against his former team. His best seasons in the NBA came with the then Washington Bullets. Here's Laettner. And Kwame Brown had his hands on it, but it comes to Calvert. Denver will run 3-on-3. Laettner's on Howard. Nuggets trying to get him the basketball on the high post. Hardaway penetrates on the reverse side. Tim left it a little bit short.
He'd like to have that back. He thought he had an easy one on the other side and just can't get the roll.
Whitney's a good three-point shooter, not this time. He'll get another opportunity and a better result.
Did not leave these Wizards open, especially certain shooters. Whitney, one of them, well over 40% from three-point range this year. Tyronn Lue, we'll see him later. These guys do not shoot a lot of threes, but when they get a look, they knock them down.
Well, maybe the Nuggets can hit a three with Tim Hardaway active again. Without him, the last 2 games, they did not hit a three. First time in 255 games, that was the situation. Hardaway to McDyess, and the pass off the mark. Here's Hamilton slashing, and he's stripped cleanly.
Interesting, when Washington has played without Michael Jordan in the past few weeks, they've become more of a running team. They want to get the ball up and down the court. Laettner with a nice move, and Chaney clearly outmatched down at the post. And let's not forget, Christian Laettner had some years early in his career, about the first 5 or 6, where he was up around 18 points a game. That guy knows how to score. He just hasn't been the focus of a lot of offenses he's been on since.
Technical foul on Christian Laettner.
Obviously wasn't happy enough with his move at the other end.
Well, Christian Laettner has a reputation for being a little warm under the collar from time to time.
Must be on one of the Denver Nuggets. Because
oh, you know what?
Washington...
Forgive me, Christian. My apologies. I thought Laettner got upset with the call, and I guess Juwan Howard did. So the tee's on Juwan as Hamilton at the other end buries the free throw.
Take another look at it, and we're going to see Laettner, Juwan Howard not going at it yet. You see Laettner keeps that arm in there, and you can see why Juwan a little unhappy. Well, I've never seen that ever on a foul or a technical foul.
There's McDyess.
Unless he said something to the official, which he must have, because I don't see a technical there.
Courtney Alexander has it on the wing. Just underway, 3 minutes in, 6-4 Washington. Eight on the shot clock. Alexander against McLeod. George bumps him on the floor. That'll be the first on McLeod. You're talking about Laettner's success earlier in his career. Christian Laettner was a member of the Dream Team, the original Dream Team, when they took, I think, 10 pros, Jordan being one of them naturally, and 2 college guys, and he was one of the college guys.
He's got a lot of experience, knows how to score, and what a heck of a guy to have on your team as a role player. Certainly his play has dropped off later in his career, but he knows how to play basketball. And one thing, amazing thing about Laettner, I was reading about, all 4 years at Duke, their team went to the Final Four, twice winning it in 91 and 92, I believe.
Well, he's the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NCAA tournament. He scored over 400 points, played 23 games in the tournament in 4 years. Hamilton slashes, that will count.
I'm not sure you could point, well,
maybe the Lue Alcindor years at UCLA. Certainly UCLA won a lot of championships. I take that back. There have been runs just as good.
Yeah, but outside of UCLA, I don't know if any team has been as dominant as Duke, at least in the last 30 or 40 years.
This is what Hamilton likes to do, slash to the basket. Doug Collins earlier this season called him maybe the best mid-range shooter in the NBA. But his instinct is really to put it on the floor, find a gap, and get to the basket or pull up short of the rim. He loves to put on the floor. Very good off the dribble. Use that screen nicely to curl and get to the basket.
Here's McLeod, finds McDyess, and he's bumped by the kid, Kwame Brown. Antonio picked up the foul at the other end of the floor, and now he'll get free throws.
And Nuggets, nice backdoor cut by George McLeod. Alexander trying to pressure him. George just keeps going to the basket until Brown commits, and then wisely gives it up to McDyess. McDyess about 80-some odd percent, 82, 83% from the line this year so far.
For Mac, this is his 10th game. His poorest game was the last game, 1 point 25 minutes against Detroit. He got only 2 shots, oddly enough, in that affair. He did have 8 rebounds. Season high is 19 against San Antonio. And despite the 2 shots the other night going over, he's still shooting 58% from the floor. Good pass leading Richard Hamilton to the easy layup.
That's the other thing he does well, is move without the basketball. Create opportunities for himself before he catches it.
Good look by Chris Whitney.
You know, we talked about McDyess a moment ago. I think one thing teams are starting to figure out with his injury, he has not shown an ability to be explosive to the basket yet. So I would guess in scouting reports, until he shows he can do that, they're going to sit on that jumper a little bit.
McDyess cuts. McDyess will lay it in. Good find by Tim Hardaway.
Even with that play, you know the McDyess of old goes up and probably throws that down with 2 hands.
Well, the good thing is the Nuggets are finding McDyess like they forgot about number 24 against Detroit.
And they'd be wise to with Kwame Brown guarding him. Nearly had the experience that other players in the league have. Alexander, beautiful shot there. He's really played well lately.
And he rises on that jumper. McDyess spins on the kid.
See, even McDyess at 75 or 80%, he's at this stage in their careers, he's a much smarter basketball player than Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown just doesn't have the experience. I mean, he's played against high school players until last year, and McDyess takes advantage of it a couple times in a row. Here's the cut. Kwame Brown just watching the basketball. Loses sight of his man, and it's an easy layup for Antonio.
Well, now he's going to get to watch the basketball game because he's gone out with 2 fouls, and our good friend Popeye Jones comes in, a Nugget back in the 99-2000 season, who still makes his home in Denver.
Talking to people in the Wizard organization, they say, well, what a raw talent Kwame Brown is, but he just hasn't learned how to play basketball yet. He hasn't had to because he was so dominating in high school for his size and his ability.
Whitney misses the jumper. Here come the Nuggets. Could you imagine him in a high school game a year ago? Here's McDyess looking for his court mate, Juwan Howard, and that'll work as a turnover. Here's Whitney again.
Laettner getting a piece of everybody right now. Gets a piece of McDyess there. Juwan Howard and him seem to be banging every time down the court at the post.
That'll be saved by Washington. Popeye Jones. And they let off the whistle. Popeye will get it back. And Laettner will give Washington a 3rd opportunity. Hamilton. Well, the mid-range jumper not going right now. 4 opportunities. And Jones finally kisses it off the glass.
Well, Popeye has always been a great rebounder, but he's not a great leaper. And what he does, he puts his body on people and just holds them there until the ball gets to him. And he did it that time against Antonio.
You know what? He's a guy you want on your team. He's such a solid person. And he gives you rebounds every night.
If I was Denver right now, I would just keep pounding this thing inside because Washington is not doing a great job. We see Hamilton at the other end, and Popeye does do a nice job there. You see him holding off McDyess and getting that rebound. That's what he's so good at. And then a moment ago, this will send Howard to the line. And they're just banging every time down the court. That was the play previous to that where Juwan lost it and the Wizards went the other way.
Laettner's going to have to come out with those 2 fouls as Juwan has his first point. Christian goes out and Eatin Thomas comes in. 2nd-year player from Syracuse. Juwan Howard back in '94 drafted by Washington, number 5, and spent 6 years, 6+ years with the Wizards before moving to Dallas last year, and now on to Denver a month ago. We've talked a lot about it. I think it bears repeating on a consistent basis. Juwan Howard has been terrific as a Nugget, very professional every night. And there he pulls down the miss. Here ahead to Chaney. Calvert will rise from 10 feet and he knocks it down.
Well, Calvert comfortable playing against the Wizards as he was playing with the Wizards. Had his best years as a pro. Then they were the Washington Bullets, but the same franchise.
Sits to shoot it. That's knocked out of bounds. No, it wasn't knocked out of bounds. Denver will get the basketball, I believe, but first a timeout. We'll sort it out when we come back. 5:30 to go in the first quarter. Antonio McDyess is off early offensively against Washington. Still no Jordan yet. All even with Washington. 5:30 to go in the first quarter, and we take a look at Tude's game plan.
Well, threes have it, in my opinion. The 3-ball, any pocket for the Nuggets right now. You see they're 0 for 11 the last 2 ball games. Now, of course, that's with Tim Hardaway out. 10 of 55 over the last 5 ball games. Locate their threes. They've got some very good 3-point shooters. They don't shoot a lot. Find where they're at and make them put it on the floor, make some decisions. 3 guys to the offensive boards. You want to get 3 guys to the glass every time for the Nuggets and try to create extra opportunity.
Hardaway. Just inside 3-point range. Well, like Antonio McDyess, to keep his knee warm, Michael Jordan is making like Lance Armstrong.
Well, and he's the last part of the game plan. Number 23, of course. When he gets in, you might want to keep an eye on him.
He's 23?
Yes.
Popeye Jones rolls it home. Popeye with 4 quick points off the bench. 19-17, Washington with the lead. One of the things that's plagued the Nuggets all season long, they gave up more than 26 points in the first quarter. That's way too many. Step away 2 by Hardaway won't go. Tyronn Lue on the floor for the first time. Has the rebound. He hands it to Chris Whitney.
And you can just about double that number for first halves, around the 51-52 mark.
You do a better job in the second half, but oftentimes they can't catch up, as you know. Lue hitting from 20 feet. Former member of the LA Clippers.
Lue has always shown with his size and strength he can get to the basket finish pretty well. But if he can knock down that jump shot more consistently, he'll be a heck of a player.
Nuggets last few possessions just shooting jumpers. McDyess gets the rebound.
I don't think Washington's done a great job at denying passes to the post. So my philosophy would be to keep throwing it in there. I mean, we've got Kwame Brown in foul trouble. Christian Laettner's now out of the ballgame. Keep throwing it in there. Let Juwan Howard go to work and see what happens.
Well, Michael Jordan's done riding, and he's going to continue stretching.
It was just a pump fake right there. Got us all in the air. Got to the line.
He's not going to play for another 2 weeks, right?
He might have pump faked the whole night.
Yeah. Kenny Satterfield has come in. He gets the call ahead of Carlos Arroyo for Tim Hardaway as Calvert Chaney hits the free throw. We showed you a graphic a moment ago. 20 shots already for Washington. This means they've done a marvelous job on the offensive glass early in this game.
It's amazing. Earlier, just before we came on air, the Wizards run out, and the crowd, you could really sense they were collectively waiting to see if Michael Jordan was actually going to run out of the tunnel. And when they did, there was a loud cheer. Or when he did.
And the house is full, and there wasn't one person that wasn't straining their neck to watch Michael Jordan in the layup line. Out of bounds, which way? Washington holds on. Now, they have 24 seconds still up there. Was that a change of possession? That's what Bennett Salvatore is getting together with Blaine Reichelt about. And Mike Evans wants the shot clock changed.
10 seconds.
They're going to put it down to 10 seconds. Mike seems satisfied.
That's the best he could hope for.
Tyronn Lue is in the game. Been in the league 4 years, but he's never played against the Nuggets. And he makes a driving layup. And he was drafted by the Nuggets.
Yeah, a few games ago, really had his career high at Seattle last Friday, 26 points. 5 of 5 from behind the three-point line.
Guess who's going to the scorer's table? McDyess hits, and this is so strange because no one paid attention to the layup. Everybody is cheering for Jordan. Then Mike Evans walks down there and shakes his hand and pats him on the back. Says, good to have you back. You're going to have to wait a couple minutes longer to see his airness. 23-21 Washington, timeout. When we return, Michael Jordan will be on the floor. Leading, and speaking of the number 23, there he is, conferring with his good friend and head coach Doug Collins. He's 8th in the league in scoring. They're 27 and 26 with Michael, including a 9-game winning streak in December. Remember when he had that subpar game? I think he had 6 points.
Against Indiana, I believe.
Right, and everybody's saying, see, he shouldn't have come back. The next night he had 51. The night after that he had 45.
Yeah, he was Tommy that night, and Charlotte was the pinball machine.
Yeah. Here's Jordan against Calbert Cheney. Off to Nesby for 21. And Popeye had his mitts on it. And it's going to go off of Kenny Satterfield. Washington basketball.
You think Michael Jordan feels pressure anymore? I mean, most people get a cheer like that when they show up. But he's probably used to it. Every arena he gets it. You think he feels any pressure night in and night out to perform anymore? He's had it, I guess, his whole career, hasn't he?
I don't know, because at times you wonder if he's even human. Here's his first look.
Oh, that looked good, too.
Hank Batura is on the floor for the first time tonight, and Denver will get the basketball. Denver has Kenny Satterfield, George McLeod, Calbert Cheney, Juwan Howard, and Hank Batura out there. And it's Antonio's turn to get on the bike. Steve Hess, Nuggets outstanding screen coach, who's right next to him. And George's pass skips on by Juwan Howard. Tough pass, 23-21 Washington leading. McDyess left the game with 11 points.
Be interesting to see if Washington becomes more of a half-court team. You see Jordan going straight to the post. This is really where he controls most of their offense from now.
Jordan will shoot again. This one short, but an offensive rebound at Tyronn Nesby. Nuggets are getting crushed on the glass. At least it seems that way. 7 offensive rebounds for Washington. Bumping foul on Batura. We have to go back to 1986, the last time Michael Jordan came off the bench. You asked that question off air.
I wasn't sure he'd ever not started the game he suited up for. And there's your answer.
Well, they checked with Elias. I mean, they had to go way back and find 1986, obviously. Michael puts a fork in it. Lue will shoot the three. He's a good three-point shooter. Another bonus possession for Washington.
He's a pretty solid guy to bring off the bench, Michael.
Lue fades and hits. You can't give teams 2 and 3 opportunities. 25-21.
Lue not a real big player. No big man really stepped up to help on that short curl jump shot. The defender really has to trail that. Kenny Satterfield's going to do a better job of staying closer to Lue. But you've got to get us some help defensively as well.
Howard spins, turn around, rolls out. And Lue comes away with the basketball. 1:10 to go in the first quarter. Michael wide open, and he hits.
Well, there's certainly no hesitancy in his game, even coming off the injury. I mean, every shot or chance he's had to put one up, he's put it up. That one finally goes.
He didn't have a contact practice yesterday, and he didn't really do many defensive slides, but just watching him move right now, he was pretty good for a guy that has knee scoped 3 weeks ago, and you know all about knee scopes.
Yeah, I would say that really the quickest window, anytime you hear of a knee scope and cartilage damage, the quickest you ever hear of anybody coming back or the doctors saying they can come back is 2 to 3 weeks. Well, he's right at 3 weeks, and here you see him, 39 years old.
Yeah, factor that in also. Michael is already committed to coming back next year. McLeod hits the first of 2. Washington shooting 44%. That's okay. Denver has been terrific. They just can't get shots. -15 in shot attempts.
Well, of late, turnovers have really hurt Denver. And in this game early, turnovers and offensive rebounds have just killed them.
Nuggets have 6 turnovers in the game. They had 18 in the loss to Detroit. And think about this, they shot 50% in that game. Ordinarily, for the Nuggets in particular, if they hit half their shots, they're going to win.
Well, remember also, down in Orlando, they shot 50%, got blitzed pretty good down in Florida. Just turning it over far too many times.
Calvert picking up the personal. Jordan posting up on Chaney, 8 to shoot it. And Michael stops for a count.
That's a reputation foul as far as I can tell. He did a quick little spin, and of course the crowd loves it. Everybody wants to see Michael go off no matter where he's playing. Chaney just held his ground from our vantage point, and you see, I just don't know how that's a foul on Calvert Chaney against anybody else other than Michael Jordan. That's pretty good defense. It's a better shot. He gets the shot to go anyway.
You know, Calvert was perplexed by that call as well. Michael turns, Todd, almost a complete revolution on that turnaround jumper. It's easier to turn the other way. And
right.
He turns and gets his elbow underneath and square to the basket. He's always had that move. That's not an easy move, is it?
Yeah, it's much easier for a right-hander to fade, sort of going over that right shoulder as opposed to turning over that left shoulder. And Michael does it either direction.
Jumper by McLeod. And the Nuggets are within 5. 5 seconds to go in the period. Lue, can he get one off? He does. And it will not fall. So the first quarter concludes at Pepsi Center. Michael Jordan returns. He's got 5 points, and the Wizards have a 5-point lead, 30-25. You're watching Fox Sports Net, your home for Nuggets basketball all season long. Back inside Pepsi Center, chapter number 2 begins. The Wizards leading 30-25. Drew Goodman, Todd Lichty, Sandy Williams, and we're happy you're with us tonight. As always on Fox Sports Net, Tyronn Lue hits the three-pointer. He's another one of those guys you have to guard deep. His 50th three-pointer in 111 attempts. That computes to 45%.
And he's over 42% for his career, so you can't leave him open.
Tim McDyess with a good start in the first quarter. Juwan Howard against Popeye Jones to the jump hook. It rolls out. Eatin Thomas has the rebound. It's the Wizards' biggest lead. They're up 8. Popeye Jones, who has some range, connects, and it's now a 10-point Washington lead.
Popeye has shown the ability later in his career to knock down outside shots. It's actually 4 of 8 from three-point range this season.
Well, you recall when we were watching Popeye play in Denver, he would shoot the occasional 3, and he'd make the occasional 3. 20 zip. The Washington bench has outscored Denver. That is not a favorable graphic.
The bench got a whole lot stronger tonight with Jordan coming off of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guy to have come off your bench. The turf hook, short, Thomas the rebound. They've also done a very good job on both the offensive and defensive glass. Good steal by Hardaway. Bowen and Howard ahead of the field. The pass was going to Voshon Lenard, broken up by Lue. Hey, kids ages 6 to 16, how'd you like to play hoops for James Posey or Ryan Bowen? Register at participating Pizza Hut locations, and you could start with Bowen's Bombers or Posey's Posse in a pickup game with your friends. Brought to you by the new Pizza Hut Pizzone and Fox Sports Net. James has to coach these days. He's on the injured list with a shoulder problem as Michael Jordan goes out. Been replaced by Richard Hamilton. Donnell Harvey will shoot the set shot and it barely draws iron.
Jordan played about 4 or 5 minutes there. Doug Collins was adamant before this ballgame that he was going to limit Michael Jordan's minutes no matter how he played tonight, whether Michael wanted to keep playing or not. Didn't matter whether Mr. Jordan was going to get upset about it. He didn't care. He was going to limit his minutes.
The Turk picks up the foul. Richard Hamilton. If there's one other guy that is a true legitimate scorer on the Washington Wizards, it's this guy, Richard Hamilton. He's only in his 3rd year out of UConn. He's averaging 20 a game. And when he finally stopped deferring to Michael Jordan every possession, that's when Washington got rolling in December.
Yeah, and really fed off of Michael Jordan's energy and really learned how to score in a lot of different ways because of Michael Jordan and his presence on the floor. Michael Jordan's a pretty good guy to learn from.
Yep, Batur showing his jump shot. We saw it last game.
It's going to be interesting to see if Batur can knock down shots like that consistently, how it changes his game. In other words, he doesn't have to be quick all of a sudden if he's knocking down those shots to get by people. But will he get there?
Lue gets Hardaway in the air, steps inside three-point range. No good. Batur off to Voshon Lenard. Bo guarded by Nesby, who's a good defender. Down to Harvey, and Harvey loses the basketball. Another turnover on Denver. That's number 7. Hamilton pulls up to 15. But for a good shooter, his shot has been off.
Yeah, it hasn't looked good tonight. And those are big words coming from Doug Collins earlier this season when he says he's maybe the best mid-range jump shooter in the league. Doug's seen a few shooters.
Thomas feeds Jones, and Popeye, that was a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lane hook. Way outside. Here's Harvey. Nice pass from Tim Hardaway as Donnell Harvey throws it down.
I think Popeye at the other end thought he was 8 feet out or 6 feet out, and he was really about 12.
I have to tell you, the more I see of Donnell Harvey, I think the Nuggets may have something.
The thing I like about him most is he just keeps coming at you, and he doesn't back down from anybody. Apart from the fact he's a pretty darn good athlete.
Yep, he's got good work habits, too. I'm talking to the coaching staff. Eatin Thomas flips it in, and he was bumped. We'll come back. 39-29, the Wizards by 10.
Field, Pepsi Center. The Nuggets are down to the Wizards and Michael Jordan, 39-29. After the game on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report, of course, we'll have highlights of this game and more on Ice Day 1 of the Kasparaitis era. We'll check in with the Avalanche. And still roping around, the Broncos still have a shot at Willie Rope, one of the best offensive linemen ever. And tonight's Fox Focus, Marcus Houston. You remember him, the prep All-American, All-Mr. That out of Colorado at the University of Colorado. What's up with him? We'll check in with that and more right after the game on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Guys?
All right, Sandy, thanks very much. No comment.
That's where the word fan is derived from, fanatic.
Yeah.
He's a perfect example of that, isn't it?
He's got the 45 from the White Sox on there. Did you see that? I just noticed it at the end. From Michael Jordan's minor league baseball career. Denver down 11. Trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Oh, trying to contact, no call, and that has the crowd incensed, in addition to Voshon Lenard. McDyess is back on the floor. He's out there with Harvey, McLeod, and then the former Heat backcourt of Voshon Lenard and Tim Hardaway.
Well, I don't think Voshon even thinks about taking the shot with the double team coming, but he gets Hamilton in the air. You see a lot of contact there. I'm not sure how that was missed. I thought it was clearly a foul. Wizards get the basketball.
Maybe they laid off the whistle because Voshon threw an elbow initially. Hamilton, nice move. Richard Hamilton starting to collect some points. He's got a dozen.
Simple pump fake. Gets the white shirts jumping. One dribble all the way to the basket.
McDyess kicks to Lenard. Wide open three.
Nice inside out game. Voshon hasn't shot it well of late. Needs to start knocking some of those down. This Denver Nugget offense really needs some outside shooting right now.
Alexander connects, and it is a 15-point game, 44-29.
Interesting couple facts about Courtney Alexander. He's 15.3 points a game without Jordan, 18.2 in the last 10. He's played extremely well of late.
Second-year player from Fresno.
Second quarter, and Michael Jordan really has only played about 5 minutes, so not good news for the Denver Nuggets. Hey, folks, the next Denver Nuggets family night is this coming Saturday, March 23rd. That's only 3 days away against the Seattle Supersonics. All family night packages include 4 tickets, 4 Pepsis, 4 Old Chicago pizzas, and 2 Winter Park Kids Lift tickets, all for the same price of $49. Been that way all year. Tickets on sale now at all Pepsi Center box office locations, all Ticketmaster locations, or by calling 1-800-4PIX. Antonio McDyess with a spin dunk out of the break.
One of his favorite plays that he works with his close friend George McLeod. See if Denver can get back in this thing. Down 13, 44-31 at the 7-minute mark. Laettner, Hamilton, and the follow by Kwame Brown. He was off target on the dunk attempt. Long 3, and McLeod leaves it short.
See, that's what's been killing Denver. You get those shots, and you just got to knock a few down to keep yourself in ball game. You just have not done it. Broken play, Kwame Brown comes up with it. He's pretty good at that.
That was a better result than the last dunk attempt. You can see how athletic he is. He's battling with McDyess. He's going to buy his 3rd. Let's check in with Sandy Williams, who was hanging around the Nuggets huddle. Sandy.
Well, Drew, right after the timeout, you saw McDyess with the dunk, and that's because Mike Evans said these words: I want energy and passion, and bleep, 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 bleep. Several bleeps were in there.
Well, you know what? That sounds very much like a Doug Moe gathering, and Mike Evans played for Doug Moe.
And I want Antonio McDyess to dunk more. Did you say that?
Yeah, that was interspersed with the expletives. Here's Kenny Satterfield. They leave him alone, and Kenny has to roll out.
Good shot again. You got to come back to, hey, Washington's going to continue to give you outside shots if you're not knocking them down, and until you prove to them that you can knock this down with some consistency and get yourself back in this ball game, they're going to be content to sit back in the paint and let you take them. Jones just lost that on the way out.
Tell you what, Tyronn Lue just blew past Kenny Satterfield going up the floor. Kenny Satterfield picked him up with the intention of staying with him for 94 feet. And Lue lost him.
But about 5'5", 6" there.
Alexander walked.
Mentioned Alexander's play of late. He has, especially with Michael Jordan out, become more of an offensive option. He has played extremely well.
Nuggets with 7 turnovers. Carlos Arroyo on the floor with Satterfield. First time these 2 guys have played together. Satterfield plays a lot more like a 2-guard. And we have a defensive 3-second call against Washington, so the Nuggets will get a technical free throw. Antonio was going to shoot it, and then he looked at George McLeod and goes, "You shoot it."
And I'll let you know if that was a good decision or not here in a minute.
Good decision. Catch all the high-flying action and off-the-court happenings with the latest photos from around the league every night on NBA.com.
Washington has dropped back into what looks like a 1-2-2 zone. I talked to John McLeod before the ball game tonight, assistant coach for the Denver Nuggets. He said Washington probably plays one of the best zones you're going to see in the NBA. Been very effective with it.
Whitney finds Laettner. Laettner finds Alexander. Good rebound from McDyess. Antonio is playing a marvelous game. 13 points and half a dozen rebounds. Would you say they're letting them play right now?
We almost had a scrum there, didn't we?
And Chris Whitney is called for the reach-in.
Somebody put a fork in that thing, please.
That or put some Velcro on it.
It was like a greasy pig running around, wasn't it?
Telling you.
This is a high-quality replay right here.
Vintage Richard Hamilton
NBA basketball.
Literally grabbed Donnell Harvey by the shorts and pulled them. Nuggets hit a shot. So we were looking at that replay. Donnell Harvey pulled it down. I was looking at the replay too, so I'm going to have to ask Dave Walsh. Beautiful shot.
Well, that tape almost melted as we were replaying it.
McDyess saves it.
Washington's still in the zone. And Denver needs to move more against this zone. A lot of people standing around watching.
Donnell Harvey, by the way, is the gentleman who hit the shot. Michael Jordan, all-time leader in scoring average as he comes back on the floor. The Big Dipper, Wilt Chamberlain, the only other player in NBA history to average more than 30 a game. Michael, number 4 on the all-time scoring list.
31. I mean, I was looking over his numbers earlier today, getting ready for the ball game, and I didn't think his career average was that much. I know he's scored 37 points a game one season. He shot 48% that year. The next year he comes back 35 a game and shoots 53, almost 54% from the floor. Incredible.
Satterfield. And Washington finally gathers the basketball in. 4:15 to go. Hamilton drives right down the lane. And I think they're going to get McDyess. Second on Antonio.
I think people forget that even about the great Michael Jordan. Some of those years where he was in the high 30s average-wise. And I mentioned the 1 year at 35, almost 54% from the floor. That's a pretty good option to go to.
That's not a bad option. You're right. Hamilton is 5 of 5 from the line. When you were taught early on to shoot free throws, I'm sure one of the first things told to you, as most kids, is get a rhythm, get something you're going to do every time. Now watch Richard Hamilton, 2 dribbles in front of him, and then 1 to the outside of his body.
And the other thing they tell you, do what works, but stick with it if it does work. But you're exactly right about the routine. And obviously that's what Richard Hamilton's comfortable with.
Well, he shoots 90% from the line, so he ought not change.
You remember Jeff Hornacek, who was another great free throw shooter, used to sort of brush the side of his face. That was a way of saying hello to his kids.
Yeah. Here's Arroyo on the drive, and a lot of contact, but Carlos doesn't get a whistle or the bucket. Chris Whitney adjusting his shorts as he comes up the court. Here's Jordan on the post-up against McLeod. Those two guys played together this summer when Jordan was deciding whether or not he was going to return. Whitney has his second field goal. George was one of the select few invited to those pickup games in Chicago. Antonio's turnaround not there. Jordan the rebound. 50-34. Popeye had it knocked away. Denver basketball. Arroyo with Whitney back. And Carlos trying to take it right at Whitney and Michael Jordan. That wasn't a good decision. And here comes Popeye. Erased by McDyess.
Up and down we go. Nobody able to get it to the rim.
Harvey against Laettner.
Good defense by Laettner.
Yep, he stayed on the floor. McLeod 27 feet away. Inside 2:45 to go in the first half. Donnell Harvey, great move. He didn't finish though. Denver will hang on to the basketball. Donnell might have gotten a finger in the eye. Timeout on the floor, 2:38 to go. Antonio McDyess with a block. It's the second quarter. Tonight's scouting report is brought to you by Pizza Hut. We take a look at Richard Hamilton, the third-year player out of UConn.
Well, we've seen a little bit of what he can do already tonight. Second thing on my scouting report, he's a slasher. You saw 2 great examples of it right there. Doug Collins, who I mentioned earlier, the quote about Richard Hamilton earlier this season, said he's one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. He's got range to about 22. When he's open from 3, he can knock it down. And I like to say athletic size. In other words, very athletic, and with his size is tough to match up against.
Nuggets have a fresh 24 underneath their own basket. They just took Chris Whitney off to the locker room. I'll have to get an update as to what his injury is. McLeod from 20 feet. And it's off Juwan Howard. Howard, McDyess, Cheney, McLeod, and Arroyo out there for Denver. Laettner, Hamilton, Jordan, Eatin Thomas, and Tyronn Lue. Jordan over Cheney.
What a great position to catch the basketball and isolate it.
Good body control by McDyess. Kind of got it high in the paint. It was one of those situations where maybe if in the perfect world he wanted to put it on the floor, but he didn't, as Lue is given the red carpet treatment again.
He throws it over an outstretched arm. That was a tougher shot than he made it look. Got rid of the ball early and just kissed it beautifully off the glass.
And the foul on Laettner.
Great look, Arroyo. Another great look a moment ago. McDyess running the court as a big man. When you run the floor hard and beat your man down the court, you like to be rewarded. Right here, Antonio McDyess found by Carlos Arroyo. Antonio almost needed to put that on the floor, but got it to the rim anyway.
Quiet first half for Howard. He doesn't have a field goal. 0 for 2. He does have 3 points from the line. Watch Michael Jordan tonight. Naturally, we're going to give you a lot of opportunities to watch him. Every whistle, he is in somebody's ear on his team. I mean, he literally is a player coach on the floor.
He must have big ears on that team.
You know what? It's like the old E.F. Hutton commercial. When he talks,
you're right.
People listen.
Good way to put it.
4 for Howard. 52-38. Nuggets would love to get this thing to single digits before the break. Jordan wants it back from Lue. Fade away from 18. McDyess stamps another rebound.
A little over a minute left to go in this half. Nuggets down by 14. Like to go on a 4-6-0 run here to finish the half. Nice block out by the Wizards. They'll go the other way.
Six to shoot it now. Penetrates, reach in, foul, Jordan Howard. Well, for those of you tuning in to see the Best Damn Sports Show, period, it will not be seen tonight due to the game. Please tune in Friday night at 8 p.m. when it returns to its usual time. Lue is the Nuggets' 23rd selection in the '98 draft. Never played for Denver because he was sent immediately to the Lakers with Tony Battie in the Nick Van Exel deal. 11 tonight for Lue. Guy's going to post up on Thomas. He's in deep, and Blaine Reichelt, the official, calls an immediate foul on Eatin Thomas. Wizards are over the limit. Mack will get free throws.
For young people watching out there, especially for post players, just continue to watch Antonio McDyess throughout his career with the Denver Nuggets. He's one of the best players at establishing position and making himself available to the passer. Sealing his man, keeping him behind him, and giving himself a great opportunity to get the basketball through the hoop. He uses his body extremely well before he catches the ball.
And that's had a gorgeous first half, too. 16 points, 8 rebounds. 6 of 8, as you just saw on the graphic. 22nd timeout for Doug Collins. Take a look at our Conoco trivia question with Washington leading by 15. And Jeff Schenker, our graphics producer, comes up with what is Michael Jordan's shoe size. Well, everybody knows everything about Michael Jordan, so you figured people should know his shoe size.
Whatever the shoe size is, that shoe has made him an awful lot of money. And Nike, for that matter.
And it's a shoe when he gives them away. And I think, as legend has it, Michael uses a new pair of shoes every ball game. When he autographs those, sends them out, people pay a lot of money.
You said it before we went on air tonight, Drew. I don't think anybody else in any basketball circle elicits more respect from people than that man right there.
I'll go one step further. Can you tell me an athlete?
Maybe in sports, is that where you're going?
in all of sports in the last 30 or 40 years that can rival him in terms of unequal respect amongst his peers.
And I think a lot of the people who were critics before this season started, critics as far as thinking Michael Jordan should not come back, I actually think he is added to that legend this year, simply because the level he's brought this team to.
Well, the only game that the Wizards have participated in that was not a sellout was their last game, a win against Golden State on Monday, 99-96. And the only reason I can think that Oakland didn't sell out the arena was that Michael Jordan wasn't playing, though most arenas are pre-sold, so that is kind of strange. Michael used to playing in front of sellouts wherever he is. Now Mike Evans calls a 20-second timeout. 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock for the Wizards. All right, pay attention. This week the scene shifts to Bristol for another full lineup of racing across the Fox networks, beginning right here on Fox Sports Net with the Winston Cup qualifying. Then on FX, it's NASCAR Busch Series racing, followed by Winston Cup practice. Then Sunday, start your race day with NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net, followed by Winston Cup racing with the Bristol 500 presented by UPS right here on Fox. And then it's NASCAR Victory Lane All Access with Kevin Harvick on Fox Sports Net. The Fox Networks, your home for NASCAR. And Mike Evans is from NASCAR country, born and raised in North Carolina. They love two things there. They love NASCAR and basketball.
Oh, Kakalaki, as our good friend Walt Davis likes to say.
And Walt's in the house. He came by and rubbed our heads a couple of minutes ago. Albert Cheney's out on Lue.
Mike Evans yelling instructions to Calvert to keep him over there, meaning keep him on his left hand. Calvert does keep him there.
They find Jordan. Jordan on the free throw line misses. Denver has 5 seconds to get one off. And Cheney is ripped by Lue. From 55 feet, no go. The first half ends 54-39. Michael Jordan and the Wizards by 15 at Pepsi Center. When we come back, Keith Dwyer will be in the studio with scores and highlights. But first, we go to the Fox Network Center for a sports break. And at halftime, Lue gives it off to Laettner. Now Lue gets a good look at three-point range, and Juwan Howard, strong rebound. Hardaway, McLeod, Cheney, along with McDyess and Howard out there. Washington starts a different lineup. Popeye Jones, Laettner, Hamilton, Lue, and Courtney Alexander. Lue didn't start the game. He has to start the second half because Chris Whitney has neck spasms, won't be back. And the Nuggets never do get a shot off. Here's Hamilton against Cheney.
Well, transition off the turnover. It's been a common thread in Nugget losses lately, and cost them there again. Denver Nuggets still 0 for 3 games from three-point range. They have not hit one tonight.
Hardaway got to the bucket, could not finish. Here's Lue, off to Laettner. He's going to find Hamilton. 18 now for Richard Hamilton. Hey!
Denver's got to start competing.
Well, you talk about competing, you have to have your head in the game. Tim Hardaway's taking the ball out of bounds. 4 other guys walk up to the offensive side of the floor. He said, hey!
And that's just a look at how the Nuggets have played the first half in a microcosm there. I mean, not ready to play basketball.
And they
Another silly turnover.
This is bad right now. 11 turnovers for the Nuggets, and they find themselves down 19 to a mediocre team, albeit with Jordan returning tonight, gives them a boost. 42% for Washington. The Nuggets really fell off. They were shooting it very well in the first quarter. Now they're down to 40%.
Well, 42% for Washington, but they got 17 more shots. And that's why Denver finds himself in such a big hole. Denver also had 9 turnovers in that first half to 3 for Washington. Mike Evans not looking real encouraged right now.
Well, a couple of the hustle stats that Mike Evans is painfully aware of right now. 7 steals for Washington, just 1 for the Nuggets. And the Nuggets are -5 on the glass. Popeye Jones. Ask Popeye if anybody can challenge him in chess, because we used to play a lot of chess with Popeye when he was with the Nuggets. Yes, that's what he does on every flight. He said, I've lost once all year.
He used to have some pretty good matches. He's a pretty good player.
He is. I asked him. You and him went out quite a bit. I asked him. I said, "How's Jordan?" He goes, "He knows how to play. So if cards is his game." He goes, "I don't mess with him in cards, and he doesn't mess with me in chess." Here's Howard from the free throw line, and Jawan spins it through. That is his first field goal of the night.
Well, Denver hasn't been great from the offensive end, but it's down at the other end where they need to start solving some problems. They've got to get some stops and put some runs together offensively.
Yeah, they need a huge run. Down 19. Alexander take a dribble and fire a 15-footer. Then Laettner gets the rebound. Hamilton shoots a three. 22-point lead for Washington.
Laettner maybe got away with a push-off as Howard was leaving his feet. Washington with another basket.
Nobody cutting. McDyess will shoot it from the top of the key. McLeod competing for it, can't grab it.
There's just a lack of conviction out there right now. He's at both ends of the floor.
McLeod the foul, Laettner the easy two, it'll count. 3 minutes into the third quarter, the Nuggets find themselves down 24.
And again, this is just too easy. Drew, you touched on it a moment ago. It's a lack of concentration. Running back down the court. Defensively, players have got to communicate with each other. I've got him, you take him, you've got the ball. They've got to talk to each other and get things handled at the defensive end.
You're talking about runs. You weren't talking about Washington making a run. In 3 minutes, they scored 12 points.
Well, and they've only gotten 9 minutes on the court out of Michael Jordan. I think Doug Collins can get this kind of response from his team with Michael Jordan only playing 10 minutes. He's going to limit Michael Jordan's minutes in the next few games.
Yeah, we might not see Michael Jordan again tonight if this continues. Chaney commits a foul. That's his fourth. But again, Washington is allowed to do whatever they want offensively. Michael might catch a nap.
And the disconcerting thing is that Washington, to me, doesn't look that interested. Now, they're up by 25 points, but I don't see them playing extremely hard. They're just executing much better and getting much better shots at their end of the court. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity. It's just so easy for them right now, they don't have to.
Now Ryan Bowen comes in. Calvert Chaney will go to the bench with the 4 fouls. See Hamilton fourth in the league from the line. Both he and Jordan averaging over 20 a game. Michael's over 24 a game.
Well, definitely threw that away.
19 more attempts for Washington. That's because of turnovers and offensive rebounds. Hamilton gets whistled for the foul. Washington averages 92 points a night. They have 67 with 20 plus minutes to go in the game. Jawan gets it back. McDyess taps at it, and it finally comes to Laettner. Thought Jawan maybe got hit on the way up, but like everything else tonight, not going to have its way, and Alexander just gets hammered by Tim Hardaway. Just a subliminal hint there from Rocky to Michael Jordan. And you think Rocky's trying to get that for himself or one of his little ones, or some other little one sitting somewhere? I think that might be for the Rocky Cubs.
He's great, isn't he?
Yeah, both are pretty good.
And, so I don't know, was he getting up? And, oh, he's heading to the bike. So it looks like he might see Michael Jordan again tonight.
On the strip. Hamilton. Little fadeaway, 24 for Richard Hamilton. This has turned into a joke. The Wizards are up 30.
You know what I'm saying? You watch this game, Wizards really aren't being forced to work very hard at either end. Look at that.
Well, you want to know what? There's the old adage, they're on different pages. Right now, they're in different books.
Yeah, they just nothing going right, and their effort certainly is not helping anything go right.
11-0 run by Washington. The Nuggets made one shot in the quarter.
And
Courtney Alexander connects.
One thing that clouds things a little bit, when things are going this bad, sometimes you can't tell whether a team's playing hard or not. And certainly in the first half, I didn't think they were. Second half, things just aren't going their way. They just cannot get anything. They're on the same page at either end of the court. And frustration is leading confusion, confusion leading to bad plays. Kiki Vandeweghe looked a little confused there, didn't he?
Well, I'm sure he's discussed it. I keep coming back to Antonio McDyess. I was looking at his face coming down the floor. Antonio's a guy with a great deal of pride. Believe me, nobody's more embarrassed right now than number 24 for Denver. Alexander trying to shoot over McDyess. Did a good job contesting that shot. They're going to have to re-recruit Antonio next year. Good things have to happen for Denver next year. And there's still a month left in the season. I mean, this is a playground drill right now for Washington. 75-41. Alexander and Lue having a good old time at the Nuggets' expense. 21-2 run for Washington, and Jordan hasn't even seen any of it. Hamilton to Alexander. Building. That is not good. 6:29 to go in the third quarter. The Avalanche will travel to LA tomorrow night to take on Adam Denmark and the Kings. But the best place to watch the game and join in the fun will be at Red Jerry's on South Santa Fe. Join Dan Brady beginning at 8 o'clock for our live broadcast and a chance to win Avalanche tickets. That's tomorrow night, brought to you by Red and Jerry's and Coors Light. That's a good establishment. Dan Brady's a fun guy to hang out with, so make sure you get down to Red Jerry's tomorrow. Here's Kenny Satterfield. He's bumped, and Satterfield will go to the line. And you know what the Nuggets have done? Mike Evans says, I'm going to try to find 5 guys that are going to compete. Ryan Bowen's out there with McLeod, Satterfield, Zenden Hamilton for the first time tonight, and Donnell Harvey.
I think it's a good idea. It doesn't really matter at this point how ugly it looks, because it's looked ugly for 2.5 quarters so far. As long as you got guys out there that are giving you effort.
That is shocking. 21-3 in the quarter. Now it's 21-5. Check it, 21-4. I remember a game. The Nuggets were taking on the Chicago Bulls as Alexander's going to lay it in. Good feed from Hamilton again. And it was during the 72-win season for the Bulls, another championship year. Nuggets went up by 30 on Chicago. Michael Jordan had about 25 points in the third quarter. Chicago actually took a 6-point lead in the fourth. Denver came back and won. A lot of people don't recall that one of the 10 losses for the Bulls that year handed to them by the Denver Nuggets. And the crowd got everything they wanted. They got Michael Jordan being sensational, and they got a Nugget victory that night.
Doesn't that typify his career? Thrown in a situation where you think he or the Bulls have no chance to win, and he just looks at it as another challenge. Speaking of challenges, here he comes back in the ballgame.
Yeah, despite the 34-point lead, Michael Jordan wants to play, and Doug Collins will oblige. Some would say, with all due respect to Doug Collins, that Michael calls the shots, but I think we know better. Doug Collins is a tremendous coach. He's demonstrated that on a couple of occasions in this league. And he was basically handpicked by Michael Jordan to coach the Washington Wizards. Last game came in late March of 1998. He had 30 and 7 in 40 minutes.
Well, in a situation like this, most teams, your team up by this many points at this stage of the ball game, you clear your bench. Unfortunately, Michael Jordan is now part of that bench. Don't think for a minute he's going to let up just because.
No, that's not just makeup.
Yeah, his team is up 36 points.
And there he is, talking to Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown, I think probably will be one of those guys like Jermaine O'Neal. You forgot Jermaine O'Neal came out of high school as Satterfield throws up a 3. It's an air ball. Jermaine O'Neal didn't really blossom in the NBA until about his 5th year in the league. Now, Jermaine O'Neal is well known in the league. He's a tremendous inside player, but it took a while because he came right out of high school. I think the same situation will exist with Kwame Brown.
And built very similarly to Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal, an all-star this year for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, Kwame Brown, I think, has got a much better body at the same stage than...
Yeah, you're right. O'Neal's built like that right now.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of maturity in Kwame Brown.
Jordan comes up with a steal. Nuggets down 36. 10 on the shot clock. Michael wants the rock. He's going to take Satterfield. 3 to shoot it. And Zenden Hamilton pulls down the rebound. Shot's not going down tonight for Michael. He's 2 of 10.
Even the shots he misses look pretty good, though. Look at the turnover count.
Well, 15 through 2.5 quarters is ugly. But forcing only 3 turnovers, I don't know what that says. Well, Hamilton lays it in.
Back to what I was saying earlier, that Washington really not being pushed to either end. They're getting any shot they want offensively, even when Michael Jordan was not in the ballgame. And really, the Nuggets mentally just not there tonight, coughing it up 15 times. And I don't think the pressure's been tremendous from Washington at their defensive end.
Hamilton to steal, 3 on 2. Satterfield finds the basket. Alexander found him from behind.
Rare highlight for the Denver Nuggets tonight. 2 young players trying to find their way in the NBA. A couple of nice plays here. Satterfield with the dish, Zenden Hamilton with the strong finish. He'll try to make it 3. And these 2 guys, in the next year or 2, will try to establish themselves as NBA players. Interesting thing about this series in the last 7 games, the road team between the Wizards and Nuggets is 7-0. And the Nuggets play in Washington next week. So they're hoping that trend continues, because this one is probably out of hand.
Here's Lue for 3. That goes down. Tyronn Lue with 14.
You mentioned the 92 points a game, Drew, by Washington.
They might get that in 3 quarters.
Exactly, that's what I was getting to.
Here's a 2-on-1, make it a 1. Alexander will lay it in past McLeod. It's a layup drill for the Washington Wizards, and now the crowd giving it to the Nuggets. And what an opportunity for Denver, albeit in the lost season, to show some life and give 18,000 people a chance to cheer for the home team. And instead, it's going to be an embarrassing loss in all probability to Michael Jordan and the Wizards. 84-48. University of Colorado lost to Oklahoma in football by that score one year.
And you got to wonder, Drew, coming into this ballgame, and we've seen the concentration level of the Nuggets, or lack of concentration, I should say, in this ballgame. You got to wonder how much maybe they were in awe or thinking about the Michael Jordan situation. Will I get a chance to play against him? Certainly some of the younger players, will I get a chance to play against the legend? Will I not? How will I respond to playing against him?
But you know what, I'll buy into that when you have a Carlos Arroyo on the floor as Bowen hits the second in, or a Donnell Harvey. But the Nuggets started Calbert Chaney in his 9th year, Antonio McDyess in his 7th year, an Olympian, Juwan Howard in his 8th year, an all-star in the past, Tim Hardaway in his 13th year. Those guys have played with Jordan. So that doesn't hold water.
All right, I'll give you that argument.
Yeah, Kwame Brown fouled, didn't mean to throw it aside. 84-50 Washington. By 34, 2:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Let's flash back for a moment. The season 1990, Chicago Bulls in town. Michael Jordan going at Dikembe Mutombo. And Michael talking to Dikembe says, watch this. I'm so good, I can play with my eyes closed. And wait, 151, 143. Carlos Arroyo getting the star treatment from Michael Jordan. I mean, does that feel any better for Carlos Arroyo? An undrafted kid out of Florida International. He's playing against the greatest player of all time, and he comes up, rubs the back of his neck, and says, hang in there.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, knowing the type of person, player, competitor Michael Jordan is, that he's seen the young Arroyo play in some of the first 9 or 10 games with the Nuggets and likes what he sees. And you're probably right, maybe some encouraging words. So I think Carlos has played well in his young NBA career here for the Nuggets.
One of the things Popeye Jones was talking about, he said you knew Michael's reputation, you know his work ethic and his competitiveness. He said his attention to detail, he said, just blows everybody away. He said, and now we've gotten to following his routine. We're in the weight room at 8 in the morning every day. We call it the Breakfast Club.
It doesn't seem to be coincidence when you talk about the great athletes in sports. There's always one common denominator, and that's a work ethic, a willingness to go to work every day, not take a day off, and push the players around you. And I think fans in general tend to think that guys like Michael Jordan, or whatever sport we're talking about, Barry Bonds in baseball, that they make it look easy simply because it all comes naturally to them. And certainly they're naturally gifted, but they work awfully hard at what they do, probably as hard as any of their peers, and they have that natural gift.
Got to be special also for Kenny Satterfield. He almost looks like he was blushing there standing next to Jordan. Jordan was...
You look around, you talking to me?
Yeah. You know my name? Michael Kwame Brown. Eatin Thomas goes upstairs. Whatever they want, whenever they want for Washington tonight.
Hey, Washington's got a lot of young, big bodies. You saw there the dunk, Kwame Brown. You got Brendan Haywood on the bench, a nice young player out of the University of North Carolina. Eatin Thomas there with a monster dunk.
Brown knocks it out of bounds. Denver will have 2 to get one elevated with 2:05 to go in the third quarter.
2 seconds on the shot clock.
Zenden got a good look, and Ryan Bowen had a chance. Kwame Brown gets it away for Courtney Alexander. Well, you played against Michael and had to guard him on a number of occasions. What was that like?
Interesting and challenging. My rookie year, I think I played about 25 minutes against him, guarded him most of the time. They arrived from Los Angeles late. Their flight was late. They didn't get in until 6 a.m. that morning. And Michael, I don't want to say I stopped him, but he didn't shoot well. Had a season low 13 points that game. The next season,
put the clamps on him.
I would never tell him that, especially when I was playing against him. The next season, it's interesting. I played him, I thought, just as good, if not better. And I actually had a couple people from Chicago come up to me after the ball game and say that's one of the better defensive jobs I've seen against Jordan. And he had 38 points on him. He shot, well over 50%. Hit the 2 shot. I mean, I was hanging all over him from about 18 feet and knocked down 2 shots late in that ball game.
And back then, that was just a run-of-the-mill game for Jordan. Zenden Hamilton in the passing lane. And Zenden passed it to himself.
My point being is that
one good play, one bad play.
I don't think anybody's ever stopped Michael Jordan. He's had bad nights, but not many. And Zenden Hamilton should have looked earlier for somebody to give that to. Seen a couple times, Zenden trying to take the ball off the court, and as soon as he gets around players in shirts with colors other than his, he gets a little nervous.
But his effort's been good. Kwame Brown from the perimeter. They say he has a pretty nice shot out to about 17 feet.
Got a couple of his better games of late here on the road. 8 and 10 points, Portland, Golden State. One of them a win, one of them a loss. You can see what they like.
Carlos Arroyo, good find. And Donnell Harvey splashes it through.
Yeah, one of the few easy buckets for the Nuggets tonight. But you can see what the Wizards liked on draft day about Kwame Brown. Tremendous size and athlete. You mentioned his build. Seems beyond his years physically. Now they just need to develop him as a basketball player.
Hamilton off the dribble. Big night for Richard Hamilton. 26 points.
Is it me or does it just seem shooting about 70%?
Believe it or not, for the game, they're not even shooting 50%, shooting 49.3%. But it's plenty good enough tonight to have a 36-point lead after 3 quarters. 92-56. Michael Jordan and the Wizards in complete control. You're watching Fox Sports, your home for Nuggets basketball all season long. And Jordan And the Wizards have branded the Nuggets so far tonight. They're up by 36 as we begin the fourth quarter. But with a little spin move on the baseline. We saw that last game. And Mink Batur has his second field goal. Here's the line score on this one. The Nuggets 31 points in the middle two quarters. That won't get it done, particularly when they're giving up 24 and 38. Kwame Brown loses the basketball, taken by Donnell Harvey. And Lue chasing him. And Harvey gets it to Kenny Satterfield.
And Harvey got rid of it just in time. Lue almost got there from behind.
Michael has played 14 minutes, 5 points on 2 of 10 shooting.
I'm going to go out on a limb here to Washington 26-2 when leading into 3 quarters this year. I'm going to say they're going to be 27-2 after this ball game.
Once again, really extending yourself.
Ironic, their only losses back-to-back games against Miami.
Donnell Harvey, I want to call it a jumper. It's really more of a set shot.
Well, I tell you what, if he can improve that set shot, jump shot, whatever you want to call it, knock that down with any kind of consistency at all, the way he goes strong to the basket really will benefit him in his NBA career and any team he's playing for.
Now Michael going to the line. Are the eyes open or closed? They're open.
Well, he's setting an example for the young guys, right? He wouldn't close his eyes.
Yeah, it was more veteran group with Chicago. Leading after 3, Dallas 40-1. Caught them last night. They scorched the Lakers.
Lakers are getting hammered tonight by San Antonio by over 30 in the fourth.
At one point in the fourth quarter, our producer Scott Bay telling us it was 93-60 Spurs. The Spurs are playing really well.
Yep.
Harvey will shoot again. And Batur had it knocked out of his hands.
With the recent hiccups of the Lakers against Dallas tonight against San Antonio. I mean, you look at the top 4 or 5 teams in the West, and it's anybody's guess come playoff time, isn't it?
Michael misses again. Denver will get the basketball. You say that, and I would agree with you. The West is loaded. Michael has come out. It's a rub on the head from Doug Collins. That may be it for Michael Jordan.
Well, you think with the trade between Dallas and Denver, the focus for Dallas was obviously to gear themselves up for the playoff, and in particular to compete with the Los Angeles Lakers, as everybody around the league is trying to do. Back-to-back games recently. One game in Los Angeles, Dallas loses a close one by 2, and the Lakers hit a late 3 in that ball game to put them up. And then in Dallas, I believe it was last night, they scorched Los Angeles, like you said. So maybe that some encouraging signs for Dallas against Los Angeles.
Could be. I just go back to last year, Todd, just to finish the thought.
I know what you're going to get to.
Is people were saying the same thing. If you recall, late in March last year, or middle of March, LA was not playing well. And everybody said, hey, they're ripe to be beaten in the playoffs, and they go on to go 15-1 in the playoffs and capture their second straight championship. They almost went clean.
Yeah, they seem to have the ability with that group, which I don't know any group has had, but it seems Phil Jackson coached teams, the Chicago Bulls, when Jordan was there, seemed to have that ability as well. And I don't think the Bulls, Jordan took many nights off, but my point being the Lakers seem to have that same ability to turn it on and off when they want to, in particular, really turn it on in the playoffs.
Their coaches don't like teams that have a switch. They want to see consistency and effort every night, but the Lakers know when May rolls around what they need to do. Hamilton and Zenden will earn a trip to the line. This group is competing, to be honest with you, I think a little better than the other group was competing, with a couple of possible exceptions. Antonio McDyess, if you're wondering, had a nice night, 22 minutes, 6 of 11 from the floor, 16 points and 10 rebounds for McDyess. No other starter in double figures.
Without McDyess, the rest of the Nuggets 15 of 46. That's below 33%. Not good.
And what's not good is the fact that Antonio too often doesn't even want to look late in basketball games. The towel over his head.
He mentioned the effort of this group currently in the ballgame for Denver. I think what they've stopped or slowed down are those run-out fast break points that we were seeing so often in the first 3 quarters. Got back a little better defensively.
Kwame Brown turnaround, no. Only other Nugget double figures is Donnell Harvey with 10. And Dyson Harvey, that's it. Eyes in the back of his head.
Beautiful drop off. We saw the nice move from Batur earlier. Took it right to the rim, right through his defender. We saw the outside shot. Shows some passing ability there, a little imagination. Arroyo, the beneficiary.
Richard Hamilton.
And as bad as this game has been for Denver tonight, you got to think that might make some highlight tapes tonight for Denver.
Calvert Chaney from 20, no. Zenden Hamilton, offensive rebound, swatted once, to go again. Kwame Brown the foul. Eatin Thomas blocked the first one, but Zenden hung in there. Good effort. Look at his pass. Wizards have not been a high-scoring team this year, but tonight against the Nuggets they are, and that has been a familiar trend over the last month. Teams hanging 100 points regularly on the Nuggets. Take a look at some of the action above the rim, brought to you by GMC Trucks. Donnell Harvey getting above the rim. McDyess in the first half. And Kwame Brown in the second half going upstairs. Zenden Hamilton getting in on the act. All of that brought to you by GMC Trucks. 98-66 Washington. Michael Jordan in all probability done for the evening. 16 minutes, 2 of 9. He had 7 points. Zenden with 8 points.
Putting together a nice game, even though these aren't minutes that really count. To Zenden Hamilton, they certainly do. 9 points, 8 minutes with that free throw.
Lue kicks it to Nesby, and Tyronn Nesby hits a 3. You know, by the way, the Nuggets, if they don't hit a three-pointer in this fourth quarter, will go 3 straight games without a 3. Batur, a little variation on that spin move.
A little step back. That was impressive.
He's got some low post moves. Like so many European and now Asian players, big men, he knows how to pass the ball, as he demonstrated a couple of moments ago.
I think what will really limit his upside is his ability to explode up over the rim or to the rim. He just doesn't have the jumping ability to really go through people. He's got the size to create some space, but Batur, I think, is going to have some trouble when he gets to the rim, keeping his shot from being blocked.
Eatin Thomas, Chaney got the rebound. Zenden nearly knocked them out. 101-67 Washington. They have been the beneficiary of 17 Nugget turnovers. They turned them into 19 points. The Nuggets have forced only 6 turnovers all night. 6.5 left. Arroyo up top. Rocky's still working on that autograph. And I guess Michael has finally obliged.
Those aren't swollen knees. Those are iced knees, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, if those were swollen, I'd say he has a problem.
Good thing they got him out of there.
Has 30. Michael do a lot of chatting when you were playing against him?
You know, the only time he talked to me, I think it was my 3rd or 4th year with the Nuggets. I was coming off the bench and was inserted in and immediately put on Michael Jordan to guard him.
Gee, thanks.
And I would typically really get up into him and sort of get in his face, bother him. Probably didn't appreciate it because I was one of those guys that rather than sort of play soft, I would try to get up into him and bang him a little bit. Well, I had 3 very quick fouls on drives as Jordan going to the basket where we ran into each other pretty good, and he didn't appreciate it too much.
We've arrived at a timeout. Rocky got his autograph. Jordan a little bit amused because a few moments ago, Rocky got the autograph. He's showing it off. And then Rocky, over his head, watch this from half court. You come to Nugget games, you know he hits this quite a bit, nails it. And now he's running around the court. He's going to throw it in the crowd. There's going to be a melee trying to come up with that basketball. Let's check in with Tim Ring back in the studio. Tim?
All right, Drew, thanks a lot. He's throwing it into the crowd. I got to go. It's worth about $50,000. This game looks like it's not coming down to the wire, so we want everybody to stick around after the game for the Rocky Mountain Sports Report. We're going to talk some hockey, some questions. Can Darius Kasparaitis fit in with the Avalanche? We're going to talk to Darius himself about that. Also, is Rob Blake okay? Now, he was hurt last night in that game against the Capitals. We'll let you know how many games he's going to miss. And also a basketball question. What is wrong with the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, it's only the regular season, but once again, they are getting embarrassed tonight. We're going to talk about that game and much, much more. Although, guys, I agree with you. I think the Lakers sleepwalk this time of year, and it's beat us in the playoffs no matter what seed we are.
Well, you answered what I was going to say, basically. There's nothing wrong with the Lakers, Tim. They're going to be just fine. Satterfield drives to the hole.
Watch
What's that?
They're going to put teams come playoff time in the meat grinder that goes by the name of Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
During the playoffs. Hey, Drew, do you think it's any coincidence that Michael Jordan actually touched that ball, signed that ball, and then Rocky made the over-the-head shot from half court? Do you think that's coincidence, or that
no,
there's some magic there?
Everything he touches turns to gold.
Unhappy fan going home with that basketball.
Lue, a runner, not there. Rebound to Eatin Thomas. And Jihadi White, offensive interference. First time on the floor tonight for Jihadi White. And this is the guy. Look at Jihadi White. He's out of Georgetown. This is the one guy in the league who I think may be as strong as Shaq.
And this is the time of game, Drew, when you do not take charges from Jihadi White.
No.
Okay. You see him coming, you move.
He's 6'9", 290. Batur from 24 feet.
I'd like to see Jihadi White hit against Lennox Lewis.
Mike Shanahan's looking for defensive linemen. He might inquire as to whether Jihadi White wants a job in the early fall. Turnover, Courtney Alexander threw it out of bounds. 103-70. It's basically been a 30-point game for most of the second half. There's the numbers on Jihadi.
By the way, I haven't kept up with the latest. Is that Tyson-Lennox Lewis fight going to happen?
Well, there's a couple of cities vying for it. Detroit and Memphis being two of them as Carlos Arroyo hits. I think D.C. gave Mike Tyson a license.
Is that the box or drive?
Probably just the box. Lue will try another three. That one's short. And Batur and White in a wrestling match. And look, Batur's laughing. Jihadi's saying, you kidding me?
Batur's going, I finally found somebody that's my size I can pick on in this league.
Watch this.
You might as well put a saddle on him. Check this out.
Those are two big, strong men.
It's one guy, Batur being, that Jihadi White might not want to try and give a piggyback to.
That's 600 pounds of big strength. Bodies flying everywhere. Donnell Harvey off to Satterfield. And Kenny finds Harvey to Hamilton out of bounds to Washington.
Jihadi White looks at the bench and Doug Collins says, Coach, tell me somebody to hit. Give me somebody I can run into.
Man, is he big.
Imagine a guy like Jihadi White when he's done playing. I mean, how big do you think he gets?
Well, pretty large right now. Alexander did not get it out of his hand. Hey, kids ages 6 to 16, here's your chance to play hoops for Ryan Bowen or James Posey in a pickup game with your friends. Entry forms located on select Pizza Hut delivery boxes and at participating Pizza Hut locations. Be a member of Bowen's Bombers or Posey's Posse. Brought to you by the new Pizza Hut Pizzone and Fox Sports Net. Hamilton lost his footing.
with out of control, took it hard to the rim, and when he got there, was met by a couple wizards.
Lue gives it up. White grabbed by Harvey. So Jihadi will get free throws, but first a timeout. 2:49 left. Washington has had their way. Green sweater there on the left. He's the happiest guy in the arena right now because he's the one who caught Michael Jordan's basketball. The one autograph, of course, going to need heavy security when he leaves. A lot of Tar Heels in the house. Scott Williams on the injured list, top left. Our good friend Walt Davis, the Greyhound, Michael Jordan. And Brian Haywood is in the lower left-hand corner. And there's Chris Irwin. He went to North Carolina, one of our outstanding photographers. Chris didn't quite have the same career those first four gentlemen had, though. Jihadi White, who played collegiately at Georgetown, is at the line. That's his first point of the night.
A lot of NCAA wins between those four guys.
Well, two guys who hit very famous shots are in the building. Michael Jordan, when he was a freshman, to beat Georgetown in the NCAA championship game, one of the most famous shots in Final Four history. How about Christian Laettner, who played 23 games in the NCAA tournament? Remember that game? He was 10 of 10 and hit the turnaround Grant Hill, the baseball pass to 70 feet, turnaround jumper to win for Duke.
Yeah, did that against the University of Connecticut. To knock them out of the tournament. And of course, Richard Hamilton also in the building that played at Connecticut, and he won an NCAA championship in '99.
Yep, he did. And since we're on the NCAA tournament, Popeye Jones, former Nugget, who had a nice ball game tonight. Remember Popeye when he was at Murray State? There he is. 37 points and 11 rebounds in a game against Michigan State that Michigan State hung on and won, and that's, I think, where people started hearing about Popeye.
Yeah, that was a first round game back in 1990. Murray State was seeded 16, Michigan State number 1, and Michigan State scraped by with the victory in overtime, 75-71. Of course, Popeye had the great game.
Ronald Popeye Jones. I don't think there's many guys in the league that know his first name. Step-away jumper by Nesby won't go. Nice save by Zenden Hamilton. He's really played his tail off tonight. Harvey. That was also played pretty well, and
that was a classic outlet pass by Hamilton.
That play excluded. Is that a classic? Is that how they
classic
teach it?
Outlet. That's the John Wooden fundamentals of outlet passing. I did some of that outlet drills at after my freshman year in high school. I went to a John Wooden camp. Actually had a rebound, 2-foot stop, pivot, outlet pass drill. That was fun.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Arroyo misses
that every day.
Well, the crowd wanted to see Michael Jordan. They got their wish. And Michael Jordan got his wish. The Wizards are going to go to 3-2 on this road trip. They're going to be 32-36 after this game. And within 2 games of the final spot in the East. They're trying to catch Charlotte. They play Charlotte one more time this year. Miami Heat are also in that playoff picture, battling back since January 1 with one of the best records in the NBA. Let's answer our Conoco trivia question. The size of Michael Jordan's feet. 13. So if you wear size 13, I just figure you might as well write the Washington Wizards in care of Michael Jordan, and I'm sure he'll send you a pair.
He's got a few lying around, I'm sure.
Yeah, no problem coming up with fresh sneaks for
How long do you
MJ.
think it takes him to get a pair of shoes if he needs them? Is there something faster the next day?
I think in that 30,000-foot house of his in suburban Chicago, he's probably got a room filled with
Is there something
sneakers.
faster the next day, though? That's what they use to get Jordan shoes.
Satterfield will go to the line. Let's take a look at what's on tap for the Nuggets, brought to you by Coors Light. They'll be in Sacramento tomorrow. I don't know how much fun that'll be. Sacramento playing great basketball. And then home to Seattle, a UPN Channel 20 game. Note the start time 8 o'clock, and then the Nuggets will be in the Big Apple at Madison Square Garden to take on the Knicks. A 5:30 start on Monday, and then they'll take on the Wizards on Tuesday night in the nation's capital at the MCI Center.
You get a short visit home, don't you, partner?
I do.
Boy, you love New York City. What's not to love, honestly, when you visit that place?
And you want to know what, in all seriousness, it was so good to be back there when the Nuggets played New Jersey and the Nuggets stay in the city, because the city has come back strong.
Yeah,
since 9/11.
Really has, and it's great to see the unity. People not only throughout the nation, but in that city that was so devastated by the September 11th attack. But it's amazing to me, Drew, to see you arrive back in New York and your energy level just sort of ratchets up. I don't even think you could help it if you wanted to. You just enjoy.
How about that energy from Tyronn Lue?
You just love being back in the Big Apple.
Well, there's a little twinkle in your eye. Yeah, there's a vitality that exists there, isn't there? Satterfield misses. Nesby up high for the rebound, and Washington can dribble this one away, though it has long been in hand. The Washington Wizards 107-75. Michael Jordan and company win in a blowout. We'll be back more from the Pepsi Center in a couple of moments.